get ready for it. It's a taste of fall on this Labor Day weekend, and it's going to be a weekend I think you're going to enjoy. We need a break from the heat. Boy, if we're going to get into a full look at your 5 for 6 forecast straight ahead.
Now at 4, safety on campus. How local colleges are keeping students safe from gun violence. Plus, baking away the stress. How one local woman built a successful business because of it. And the Boys and Girls Club in Augusta has a new upgrade. We'll take you to the ribbon cutting and show you the opportunities it offers local kids. As your news at 4 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jenny Montgomery. Coverage you can count on begins with this question. How safe are your kids on campus? After the recent deadly shooting at UNC Chapel Hill, students and faculty at our local colleges are speaking out about security. Bria Smith has more.
College students have plenty on their minds, academics and adjusting to college life, just to name a few. But students I spoke with say hearing about shootings on other campuses just adds to that worry. A study done by Campus Safety tells us that 121 or 64% of college campus shootings happen in the South. Those students at AU were not directly impacted by the shooting at the University of North Carolina. They say incidents like that are still felt.
You don't know what can happen. There's easily things that can trigger other people that can want them to lead to harming other people or students on campus. So it's concerning just to hear it at any school. But with the Rave Guardian app that we have on our phones, I feel very comfortable with that. I know I can call somebody and they'll be there instantly.
All of AU's resources regarding mental health and safety are free to all students and are highly encouraged by staff. In Augusta, Bria Smith, WJBF, News Channel 6.
And you can find out more about those resources on our website, WJBF.com. In Jefferson County, the Sheriff's Office says they've had 10 drive-by shootings this year, the most recent happening 3 weeks ago. 3 people are behind bars now, charged in the shooting on Handy Street near Louisville. The sheriff is asking for the community's help, and there's a $5,000 reward once all convictions are made.
I just invite the community just to give us some information. If they know anything, their name will never be mentioned. They would just help solve these problems. This is a tragedy to this family up there at Renz and Louisville. And we're going to do everything we can to solve this problem situation.
The Sheriff's Office also wants your input to put a stop to these shootings. You can voice your opinions at a public meeting in Renz tomorrow morning. It's at 8 o'clock at the track beside Renz Baptist Church. It is the start of a long holiday weekend.
In just a few minutes, Jenny.
Sounds great, Tim. Thanks so much. A local bakery owner turns loss into something sweet. Tiffany Hobbs takes us to where it all began.
The loss of our little girl was essentially the reason Sinless Sweets really started in the first place.
Amber Connor was 16 weeks pregnant when she experienced a miscarriage in early 2020. Her health and fitness background led her to finding healing in the kitchen.
Baking has really always been a way to kind of deal with, anything you're really going through. Is kind of a coping mechanism for me.
Before long, the word got out and Connor found herself delivering sweets to people's doorsteps.
Sinless Sweets really fills a need in the Augusta area because there's nobody else who does what we do.
At Sinless Sweets in Evans, Connor and her team whip up yummy desserts with health in mind.
Not only are we, keto friendly and low carb, but we're also sugar free, which makes us diabetic friendly. We're gluten free, so we're celiac safe.
Now she's taking Sinless Sweets nationwide. Connor just returned from New York, where she filmed a TV pilot about her baking.
I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, I was like, "This can't be real. Is this real?" But it was.
The pilot is centered around teaching moms how to bake healthily and consciously for their kids, a passion for the now mom of 2.
We have a way to help parents be able to instill, good, healthy eating habits, for their kids. And I'm teaching them how to do it in the comfort of their own home, but also getting the kids involved. And I think if you teach them young, that only helps their choices later on.
Connor's pilot episode airs throughout the weekend. For a link to watch, visit us at WJBF.com. In Evans, Tiffany Hobbs, WJBF, News Channel 6.
If your child goes to the Hagler Boys and Girls Club in downtown Augusta, They're in for a treat. A ribbon cutting ceremony was held earlier today for its new athletic complex, which offers all kinds of activities. Hannah Latier joins us in the studio now with details.
It's been 7 years since the Hagler Boys and Girls Club opened its current building, and now they finally have an updated athletic complex they hope will shape the next generation. There's a new playground, a baseball field that doubles as a football and soccer field, a chipping area and putting green, a pickleball court, a community garden, and a walking track. A $2.2 million state grant was used to pay for the complex, but they're relying on donations to maintain it. Andre Lacey found his passion for golf at the Hagler Boys and Girls Club in the 90s and hopes these new additions do the same for today's youth.
If somebody's exposed to something, they may like it, they may not, but it will drive them on to something that they do like. So being able to expose them to something that they wouldn't normally see in their communities, it creates so many other paths that they can take.
Kids will be able to enjoy the complex starting today. The club's president says they still need the community's help for future projects, and you can find out how to get involved at WJBF.com. Jenny?
All right, thank you so much, Hannah. And more good news for local youth. The Augusta Mini Theater Arts and Life Skills School has reached its funding goal to build a performance arts theater on campus. They're adding a 150-seat theater on the Deansbridge Road property. $800,000 was needed by August 31st for construction in order for the AMT to keep its city funding. The staff thanks the CSRA for its support. Students who will become our future business leaders are the focus on next week's Means Report. Mark Thompson is the interim dean of the Whole Business College at Augusta University. He tells us about degree programs that can help people of all ages succeed in the real world and the importance of internships to give graduates an edge on the competition.
Certainly the whole college, as I said, we've made internships a requirement for all of our graduates, but Augusta University is put efforts with career services, because if as we grow as a university and you're talking about internships in the local area, making those connections and having business partners that will take on interns, that's critical. And in fact, a lot of students will even talk about how it leads to competition between different job offers, because I interned here, but yet I have an opportunity elsewhere because of that experience.
We'll also hear from the Tunnels to Towers Foundation, find out how you can support their efforts to help veterans and first responders, Monday at 12:30 on the Means Report. You can help people in need in our area with vital supplies through our latest Giving Your Best donation drive. We're collecting items for ACTS, area churches coming together. If you can, please drop off powdered baby formula, baby wipes, laundry detergent, and other hygiene products. You can bring your donations here to Television Park or any Security Federal Bank in the CSRA. Coming up, excessive sleepiness during the day. Why this could be a sign of a condition that you may need to talk to your doctor about. Stay with us.
Lawyers at all nights.
Many people struggle with sleeping. According to the National Institutes of Health, 50 to 70 million Americans have a sleep disorder. Taylor Murray talks with a doctor about narcolepsy and how to treat it.
Narcolepsy is a condition characterized by extreme sleepiness during the day and falling asleep suddenly during the day. Dr. Ahmad Buddha, an expert in sleep medicine, says although those are the most common symptoms, it doesn't always mean you have narcolepsy. There are other things doctors look for when making a diagnosis.
The simplest way to understand is basically emotionally triggered sudden weakness in your muscles, especially facial muscles, leg muscles, for example. And that's usually by laughing or telling a joke, that kind of stuff.
Someone with narcolepsy may also experience hallucination.
Like thinking there's things around you or you're hearing things not actually present.
Dr. Buddha says the exact cause of narcolepsy is unknown, but genetics or autoimmune diseases could play a role. If you are struggling with daytime sleepiness, doctors will first try to rule out sleep apnea. If it's not that, you may need to do a nap test.
Then the patient will need to stay in the sleep lab for the next day to do what we call it multiple sleep latency test.
Every 2 hours, the patient is given an opportunity to sleep for 20 minutes or more. Doctors are looking at how quickly they fall asleep.
Once we confirm the diagnosis of narcolepsy, there are two different things we need to do to improve and treat the narcolepsy. Number one, we need to improve the nighttime sleep. A lot of narcoleptic patients have a lot of sleep disruption and fragmentation of their sleep.
Doctors say narcolepsy is most often treated with medication, a sleep aid for nighttime, or a stimulant to treat daytime sleepiness. Coming up, lower temps and clear skies. A full check of our forecast for this Labor Day weekend with Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller after the break.
In the 90s, that's your forecast, Jenny.
All right, Tim, thank you. And you had me at George Benson, by the way. In South Carolina, a tornado sends a vehicle flipping high in the air during the tropical storm Wednesday. Just looking at the video, it's hard to imagine someone walking away from this crash. Look at that. But one woman did. Daniel Pierce has her story.
I've actually watched it multiple times, and for me to be the only car picked up.
Malaysia Smoke's brush with death has been seen by people all across social media. A moment caught in the crosshairs of Mother Nature, even she's finding hard to believe actually happened.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this really happened to me, and I'm really walking around today talking to everyone.
Today she's back home in South Carolina. She had to literally travel through Hurricane Idalia to get here.
At work, we were only there to schedule for 4 hours. All I could think about was when I got off, I was going to come home and take a nap.
She was about 15 minutes from home when she drove straight through a tornado created by the hurricane as it passed through Interstate 52 north of Charleston.
I must have spoke it up because I literally said, wow, that's a lot of leaves. It literally looks like a tornado because it was so much wind out of nowhere. It happened so quickly. Everyone thought like maybe I could have saw it coming. It happened so quickly.
In this video, you can see the twister pick up her vehicle from the back and tilt it on its front bumper before flipping it into the air and dropping it down onto another vehicle.
All I remember was closing my eyes. I saw the ground like how you would go down a roller coaster. That's what it felt like.
A driver capturing this video angle showing how her car landed. Malaysia, who is 5 months pregnant, had to then crawl out of her car through the broken glass. It was in these moments she began to worry most for her unborn child.
I could have sworn the seatbelt was pressed against my stomach so hard, and trying to climb out of the rear window, I could have sworn I squished like everything inside of me that would have damaged something on the child.
But as she phrased it, the power of prayer or the intervention of a higher power, hospital staff told her both she and her unborn child are okay.
Definitely makes me appreciate way more from a different look. I'm just sorry that I had to land on somebody else.
Wow, the power of prayer and seatbelts. Investigators say the people in the other vehicle are back home and they're also okay. Amazing. We'll be right back.
.itsyourrace.com. The live 5 for 6 mobile app. Download it today.
My, oh my, what a beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine, some great temperatures. It's a great night for baseball. SRP Park. Salem Red Sox in town. Temperatures in the 70s. Wait till you see what's headed away for the rest of this Labor Day weekend. You're going to love it. 5 for 6 forecast is straight ahead.
Now on News Channel 6 at 6, the latest on former President Trump's indictment in Georgia. Why the governor says he won't push to remove Atlanta's DA. Plus concerns about violence on college campuses. How Augusta University is protecting students.
I'm George Esklin, Harlem. It's spicy season. Or not. Out there somewhere, your news at 6 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you for joining us tonight. Coverage you can count on begins with Georgia Governor Brian Kemp saying he will not call a special session to remove Fulton County DA Fannie Willis. Atlanta Bureau Chief Archit Seshadri has the details. Count on begins with Georgia Governor Brian Kemp saying he will not call a special session to remove Fulton County DA Fannie Willis. Atlanta Bureau Chief
oh my. Sunshine, some temperatures that were really well below normal. Average high is 91 degrees. We're nowhere near that today. Let's Jenny.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. Students at local colleges are speaking out about on-campus safety after the recent shooting at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. A study done by Campus Safety shows that 64% of college campus shootings happen in the South. Augusta University police say they take part in training for their staff and provide resources for students and faculty on campus.
They can also text directly to our dispatch if they find themselves in a situation where they can't talk, but they're able to text. So the Rafe Guardian app is just one of many resources that we have here on campus.
All of AU's campus resources for mental health and safety are free to all students. You can check those out at WJBF.com. If your child goes to the Hagler Boys and Girls Club in downtown Augusta, they are in for a treat. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held earlier today for the new athletic complex, which offers all kinds of activities. Our Hannah Latier joins us now with the details.
It's been 7 years since the Hagler Boys and Girls Club opened its current building, and now they finally have an updated athletic complex they hope will shape the next generation. There's a new playground, a baseball field that doubles as a football and soccer field, a chipping area and putting green, a pickleball court, a community garden, and a walking track. A $2.2 million state grant was used to pay for the complex, but they're relying on donations to maintain it. Andre Lacey found his passion for golf at the Hagler Boys and Girls Club in the 90s and hopes these new additions do the same for today's youth.
If somebody's exposed to something, they may like it, they may not, but it will drive them on to something that they do like. So being able to expose them to something that they wouldn't normally see in their communities, it creates so many other paths that they can take.
Kids will be able to enjoy the complex starting today. The club still needs the community's help for future projects, and you can find out how to get involved at WJBF.com. Jenny?
All right, Hannah, thank you very much. A local bakery owner turns loss into something sweet. Amber Connor was 16 weeks pregnant when she experienced a miscarriage in early 2020. Her health and fitness background led her to finding healing in the kitchen. At Sinless Sweets in Evans, Connor and her team whip up desserts with health in mind. Connor just returned from New York, where she filmed a TV pilot about mindful baking as a parent.
It's a very humbling experience because, like I said, I never honestly thought that someone would look at Sinless Sweets as such an opportunity to share healthy baking. And that's what the pilot is all about, is actually teaching moms how to bake healthy for their kids.
Connor's pilot episode airs throughout the weekend. For a link to watch, just go to our website, WJBF.com. Focusing on business leaders of the future on next week's Means Report. Find out how you can support their efforts to help veterans and first responders. Monday afternoon at 12:30 on the Means Report. Coming up, student loan payments starting in October. What to do now that loans are accruing interest again. First, though, let's take a look at what's ahead tonight on News Nation.
News Nation tonight. Could the man accusing George Santos of stealing funds for his dog actually take legal action? We look at his options. Plus, another Minnesota town loses its entire police force. Hear from the mayor tonight on Dan Abrams Live. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.
That is all coming up tonight on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation. You can find it on these local channels.
I do. Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
It's grand opening celebration for Interiors Market, the newest concept store by Weinberger's Furniture. Right now, save $250 off any purchase over $9.99. Save on everything in store and save on anything you customize to order. This coupon is on top of our already discounted furniture, mattresses, and accessories. Don't miss the celebration and deals.
Come see what's new.
Interiors Market, right across the street from Weinberger's Furniture.
Don't miss the day.
Let's see where it takes us. Good morning, Augusta.
Student loan payments start back in October, but interest is accruing starting today. There are some benefits for borrowers once repayments start again. If you miss a payment during the first year, that won't be considered delinquent. You can also apply for the new income-driven repayment plan.
Most of the time, these income-driven repayment plans, especially for lower-income Americans who probably are the ones who are most cash-strapped in this era of high inflation, they're pretty manageable. You might not have to pay as much as you might think you do on these student loans.
For more information on repayment options and new benefits, visit studentaid.gov. Kim's back at the desk for another check of the weather as we go into a